Colonial America. But behind the battles and politics, everyday life was filled with strange, funny, and even shocking habits. Today, I'll take you on a journey into that world. A world where people brushed their teeth with corn cobs, where coffee wasn't just a drink, it was a weapon of freedom, and where medicine could be as dangerous as the disease itself. Let's step back in time. Let's begin with one of the strangest habits. No toothbrushes, no toothpaste. So how did people clean their teeth? With corn cobs, dried, hard, scraped across their teeth after every meal. Why corn cobs? Because they were everywhere, cheap, and surprisingly, they worked like a natural brush. But here's the catch: did it help? Yes, teeth looked clean, but gums were often torn and infected. Tooth decay? Still common. So, imagine this: every meal ends, and instead of reaching for a toothbrush, you grab a cob of corn. Now, let's move from the dinner table to the coffee house. In the late 1700s, tea was the king of drinks, but the king across the ocean, King George, taxed it heavily. Americans were furious. So, what did they do? They switched to coffee. And coffee became more than a drink, it became a symbol. Every sip was rebellion. Every cup was freedom. Why coffee? Because Britain had little control over it. It was imported from other places. It was safer. So the simple act of drinking coffee turned into a daily protest. Imagine it, sitting in a crowded coffee house, candlelight flickering, voices rising, every sip daring the empire itself. Let's talk about fashion. Men wore the famous tricorn hat, three sharp corners pointing to the sky. It may look funny now, like a costume, but back then it was stylish. Why three corners? Simple, it was easy to remove when greeting someone or saluting. And women? Their dresses were massive, layers upon layers of fabric, heavy, hot, and uncomfortable. Sometimes, they needed help just to sit down. So next time you complain about tight jeans, imagine trying to sit in a dress that weighs as much as a small child. Medicine was another strange world. To fight a cold, people put onions in their socks. Yes, inside their socks. They slept with them all night. Why? Because they believed onions could pull out the sickness, like a sponge soaking up poison. But here's the scary part: for fever, doctors often prescribed mercury syrup. Mercury, a deadly metal we now know destroys the body. Yet back then, it was considered medicine. So, did people get better, or worse? Often, much worse. What about fun? No movies, no smartphones, not even newspapers for most people. So what did they play? Horseshoes. Why? Because everyone had a horse, and old horseshoes were lying around everywhere. They'd gather, throw the horseshoes, laugh, and of course, bet on who would win. It wasn't just a game, it was community, it was how villages came alive. Food in colonial America could also surprise you. Flour was expensive, wheat was rare. So people turned to acorns. Yes, acorns. They ground them down into flour and baked bread or cakes. But there was a problem: acorns are bitter. So bitter, they had to wash the flour again and again just to make it edible. Imagine biting into bread that tastes more like medicine than food. That was daily life for many colonists. So there you have it. Life in colonial America wasn't just war and politics. It was corncob toothbrushes, acorn bread, onion socks, and coffee as a weapon of freedom. Strange, funny, sometimes dangerous, but always unforgettable. Now I'll ask you, if you had to try just one of these habits, which would it be? Would you brush with a corn cob? Would you eat bitter acorn cake? Or would you raise a cup of coffee and join the rebellion? The choice is yours.